And so Paul has a very strong word. This is a military word from a commander-in-chief to troops on the ground for what is to come. First, we need to know our enemy. Ephesians 6:12. Do you know you have an enemy? Do you know you're not loved by everyone and everything? Do you know you're hated, despised, and opposed? Do you know that we are? We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. People are not our enemy. Satan and demons are our enemy. The Bible speaks of non-Christians as captives. What happens in a war is an overtaking army then enslaves and takes captives the citizens that are conquered. That's called earth. The world has been conquered by Satan and demons. We've been taken captives in war. So our war is not against the captives. Our war is against their captors, Satan and demons. The people would be spiritually, in every way, set free to become the children of God. This is why Jesus says very early in his earthly ministry that he has come to set captives free. That's what he's talking about. So our war is not against the non-Christians. Our war is not against those who would disagree with biblical faith. Our war is against Satan and demons who have taken people captive to do his will. So we need to know our enemy. The first thing in any fight is, well, who are we fighting? Any of you ever been in a fight? I grew up in a poor neighborhood, fought quite a bit. So we'd say, okay, so-and-so wants to fight you. First thing, who is it? All right, this will determine whether or not I show up and how I prepare, right? Who is it? I need to know who I'm fighting. Satan, he was created by God. So he's not God, he's not equal to God. You need to know this. He doesn't share all of God's attributes. God can be everywhere. Satan can't. God knows everything. Satan doesn't. God reads your mind and thoughts. Satan can't. He's created, he's also fallen. He's rebelled against God. He's turned his back on God. He's declared war on God. He's also very powerful as a spirit being, akin to an angel who has turned to the dark side. It's very powerful. He's also been observing human history for thousands of years, so he understands how to read people. He can't read your mind, but he can read your life and your body language. And we're not all dealing with Satan because he is limited, but he has demons at his disposal. These are fallen angels, rebellious angels who joined him in his war against God. And friends, they are real and they are really at work in the world. And you need to understand this. Under Satan's motivation is ultimately pride. Satan is the most proud being in the history of creation. Meanwhile, God is utterly humble. We see this in the Lord Jesus. Satan has done such a good job in our day that self-esteem, it's not a vice, it's a virtue. Independence is not a vice, it's a virtue. Some of you don't even believe in Satan and demons. But let me say that the root of demonic work is always sourced ultimately in pride. I don't need to listen to someone else. I'm smart enough. I don't need to submit to someone else. I can take care of myself. I don't need to follow someone else. I'm the authority in my own life. And Satan will in every way tempt and test your pride. He fell through pride. The angels who fell with him and became demons, they fell through pride, and he will tempt you ultimately through pride. You need to know that he is real, that he is really powerful, and that he is really at work. You also need to know that we need to be careful not to make too much of him or too little of him. Some of you come from what's called charismatic and Pentecostal backgrounds. Sometimes they make too much of Satan and demons, to the degree where you're not responsible for your own sin. You could pull out the card that Eve did in Genesis 3. Oh, the devil made me do it. Yes, that horrible devil. He may tempt you, but you're the one who sins. He may set an opportunity for you, but you're responsible for how you react to it. Some make too little of Satan and demons because you try to explain everything away with hormonal conditions and medical conditions and psychological conditions and biological conditions. You try to have an explanation for everything that omits the spiritual. Or some of you are worldly in the fact that you think in a way that is not biblical. You think, well, Satan and demons, that's very primitive. That's from a bygone era. We've evolved beyond that. And Satan would say, nice job with the pride. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you think that you've evolved beyond the primitive teaching of the Bible and Jesus. Satan is real. We have a real enemy.